Probably not me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes, it was me. We were sitting at a convention, and I think it might have been Chicago, and we had our EGSMA badges. And we were sitting at the bar, and the barmaid looked at it, and she says, "Well, eczema, that beats the heartbreak of psoriasis." Shortly after that, we went to EGSA. Yeah, I value more than anything else the interaction with the members. I was a graduate of the Merchant Marine Academy, and I majored in deck. So when I came into this industry, I really didn't have much of an in-depth understanding of what the heck was going on. But through my contacts in EGSA, when I found gurus in every apparatus company, I needed something, I would know who to call. I needed to know about engines. I had about 8 engine gurus. I needed to know about regulators or switchgear. People I could call. And I really think that's the value added that the association gives if the companies would bring their young'uns and let them get exposed to the networking that we can do. It'll certainly enhance their career.
Tell me about the traveling schoolhouse.
Well, we started it in '83, I believe, or '84. The members needed something to increase the professionalism of all of our members, and the Education Committee decided that the best way to do that was to have a schoolhouse. And we talked to the various members to get instructors. And we started first, they were going to hold it in EGSA headquarters in Coral Springs. Well, we had members all over the country, and they said, "Well, you can't do that. We have to have something a little closer so the costs are down." So we decided to have a traveling schoolhouse. We would just take the whole thing on the show, a dog and pony show on the road, as it were. And if you remember Uncle Tom's Cabin, well, the whole thing just grew like Topsy. It just grew out of that, and it was a good thing for the members. Well, everybody carried their own stuff, and we arrived. We arrived at wherever the site was. We were scheduled for a 4-hour session or a 2-hour session or whatever. You go in, you do your thing, hitch on your wagon, and go home. As chairman of the Education Committee, I audited the first 2 or 3 schools, so I stayed for the full school just to get a better handle for the Education Committee of what was needed, how things were going, that sort of thing. And the worst part about it was we had no handouts. So the students, without a handout, students just went away with whatever they could remember. So each instructor brought their own. Well, it was pretty hard to keep it generic. And some of them made it into an infomercial, and we kind of squeezed that down. That's when the reference book came up. We said, we gotta have a book so that everybody is singing from the same hymnal, as it were. And so that's how the reference book started. And we sort of twisted arms and got Gordon Johnson to be the editor of that. And he had the patience of Job, that guy. And he pulled the whole thing together. So the school then, once we had the book, the school was a lot easier to conduct because the students had a reference manual that they could look at if they couldn't remember everything that was said. Because the first schools, in 4 hours, I taught complete basic electricity. I taught complete generators in 4 hours, and that's like open head, insert data, close wound, you know. And the guys just couldn't absorb all of that. So that's what the book was all about. And then the iterations of the book as we went along, as technologies expanded, we added more chapters to cover more areas, and as the association grew with more of the accessory equipments, then we got instructors to teach, and we got authors to write about that portion of the book. So it's grown now to, I wouldn't have dreamed that it is what it is. No way. And that's that. But the only real funny stories were things that happened in conventions. One of the neat guys was a gentleman by the name of Wayne Aceto. He started out, I think, with Basler, and when he left them, I can't remember what companies he went to, but he was a pianist. Almost like a ragtime piano player, but in the reception rooms, or some companies would have hospitality rooms, Wayne would start playing the piano, and then the whole crew would just gang around and sing the old songs and whoop and holler and have a good time. One time we were down in New Orleans, went across the street from the hotel and sat in a Dixie jazz bar, and when they would break, Ray Wood from Technology Resources was a fan of Harry Lauder, who was a Scotch singer. So we would sit there and sing Scottish songs in between the jazz, those sort of things. It was fun. It was companionship.